Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and man do I love GoBots! Find out what I mean when we dive into this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, The Autobot Family, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe vs. DC Universe vs. Marvel, and Autobot City Central, as well as all of my social media links. They are all down, man, in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or, of course, you can use the join button and become a channel member right here on YouTube. And this is the new Transformers Generation Selects Bugbite. And by rights, Bugbite has some limited fiction, and by rights, Bugbite is actually a GoBot who infiltrated our universe. I'll explain kind of that backstory in a few minutes. This is another use of the cliff jumper hubcap mold, but it has the head from the Bumblebee remold. So it's a little bit of a mix. Some people wondered why we didn't get the Bumblebee remold. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But how good is this guy? Because you'd think, hey, it's the exact same thing. Well, is he as good, better, or worse than his counterparts? Well, we're about to find out, man, when we head over to the table and take closer look at this guy. And so here we have technically the Renegade Gobot, Bugbite. Yeah, okay, I know he's a Decepticon, but the whole kind of story for this guy is really outlandish. By rights, he is Bugbite from GoBots, part of the Renegades, and their war ended when there was an extra-dimensional influence. I don't know what that means. I don't know the storyline. I think it came through maybe Timelines or the Collector Club or something like that. But he was part of like an allied team. It was him and the Guardian Gobot Treads, who has traditionally been represented as like a green version of Warpath. And Bugbite took on this new body form, and he infiltrated the Decepticons in the hope of not only finding out, you know, what it was that kind of threatened his home universe, but seek some revenge in the process. So he's a bad dude. Now, you know what? While he's traditionally presented as part of the Decepticons, I can kind of dig him being a mercenary, because he is about as outlandish and kind of outside the rank and file as you're gonna get. I mean, the dude technically isn't even a Decepticon, doesn't even come from the dimension that he exists in. By rights, I love it, absolutely love it. But before we look at him, you know what we're gonna do, man? That's right, we got the Earthrise, not Earthrise, Selects packaging. It's as boring as it gets. We got the name Bugbite right there, so there you go. By the way, interestingly, it looks like this time Bugbite is written in 2 words. A lot of times, sometimes it's been written as 1 word for his name, so it does vary. Dandy War for Cybertron instructions, no doubt about it. I didn't say Earthrise instructions, though. These are like the Earthrise. They do not have Earthrise branding on them, nor do they have the Cybertronian like stats, I guess, on them. And finally, here's Bugbite in all of his white glory, and I dig it. Like, for the most part, the whites match. Not perfectly, but pretty darn close. I love his purple accessory. I didn't show his accessory because we've seen it before. It's the same thing that came with Hubcap in gray, and the same thing that came with Cliff Jumper in silver. We'll talk about them in just a little bit. Of course, it can go on the sides here with the skis up on the front and the piece underneath. Or, if you're so inclined, do something even more wild and outlandish. This is most definitely is not a robot in disguise, but I do dig that if you want, like, you know, like anti-aircraft type of thing, I dig that, man. So this is definitely wild. I will point out now, I was very lucky because a lot of people, sadly, have gotten this guy, and when they opened up the package, the whole back section here was not in the package. Bad QC issue, and a lot of people have ordered it online, which makes it real difficult to do an exchange on. Gotta have better QC, boys. Gotta have better QC than that. And in fact, with those bits and pieces off, this is what you're left with. I suppose you could, you know, like if I put these down, thusly close this in. Like, that's what you would have without the back. I think that's a real shame. Now, I mean, I don't have this lined up perfectly, but you get the idea. The transformation we have seen going from vehicle to car, from car to robot, vehicle to car. Yeah, we've seen going from robot to vehicle, vehicle to robot when we looked at Cliff Jumper and when we looked at Hubcap. So here we have controversial white Bumblebee in all of his glory. Look, the transformation's the exact same as we've seen it other times. The only things I don't have done at this point, which again we've seen time and time and time again, is on the back having this piece put in there. Of course, if you want, you could put it on his arm as a shield or whatever. That's your call. And naturally, just because you can, I'm gonna put that on the side of his arm. You know, and Megatron thought he had an arm cannon, right? And here he is with Cliff Jumper and Hubcap. I looked at Hubcap in episode 765, and I said then that Hubcap's paint was an 8.5. The articulation was a 10. It's fantastic, and the transformation was only a 7.5. It's a little bit fiddly. Overall, he was a 9. Pretty good, pretty great Hubcap, not perfect. For Cliff Jumper, there was a little bit more of an evolution. I looked originally at Cliff Jumper in episode 675, and I said then that his paint was a 9. It was pretty good. There was certainly a lot of it. And I said his articulation again 10 and the transformation is 7.5. But Cliff Jumper changed a little bit later because in episode 764 I looked at all the custom work I did on Cliff Jumper, and now I would say he's about a 9.75. Still not perfect. Cannot be perfect. Why? Because the car mode doesn't speak to me as Cliff Jumper. It's not what I picture. And the chest should have a little piece kind of just under the head and above the window. That's not there. It's just the way the mold is. You can get a 3D printed part to go on there, but it's just not the same, man. It's pretty good, but it's just not the same. And that brings us to Bugbite himself. Well, for paint, I'm going to say he's white evil Bumblebee. 10. If you want to put a Decepticon logo on his chest, get a sticker, man. Cover that up. No big deal. So 10 for that, no doubt. The articulation, again, the head goes left and right and up and down. The arms go all the way around, out to the side. We have shoulder all the way out. We have 90-degree elbow, bicep swivel, wrist rotation. We have a waist rotation. Legs can go well forward. Legs can go back. We have a thigh swivel kind of built into the thigh. We have knee to 90 degrees, and we have ankle tilt, nothing forward and back. But I don't think you really need it. Here's the thing. This guy, unlike the others, is not a 10. Why is he not a 10? Because we're starting to, at least on my copy, see mold degradation. This shoulder piece over here, it likes to come out. I can close the chest up all I like, but it still likes to come out. And the most egregious thing, that waist is super duper loose. He's always leaning back. Like, he always wants to go back like this, right? Because that is so loose. So I'm going to say 9 for his articulation. We're starting to see kind of some mold degradation, or at least, like I said, on my copy, I'm starting to. So, that being said, his look is a 10, his articulation is a 9, which is a 9.5, and his transformation is still a 7.5. Honestly, the guy's about an 8.5. It's pretty great. And it's a great addition, assuming he comes with all of his bits and pieces and parts. But he's not perfect, and he is most definitely too small to really be called a deluxe as far as I'm concerned. Am I glad to have him? Yes. Should you get him? Yeah, probably. He's pretty great. But I most definitely would advise that you don't pay not 1 penny over retail, because he's good, but he ain't that good. And here we are once again, and here he is, and like, he's all right. Like, I like the look of him. I really do. I like the look of, like, evil Bumblebee. I dig it. I totally dig it. Would it be nice to have this guy actually be like that bug type of body? Yeah, I guess, but like, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with whatever. I'm cool with this for Bugbite. I wish I could say that the tolerances were as good. They're not on this guy. Like, Hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. If you can hear that, like, he got a rattle, and like the legs I pointed out. I wouldn't advise using this mold a lot more. I really wouldn't, because it seems like, and I don't know, maybe mine is the exception to the rule, maybe yours is perfectly fine. But when I hear stories of like this back piece not being included, or the purple cannon thing not being included, when I see things like the waist being really super, like, if I straighten them up right there, just watch. Like, you could see him falling back, man. Like, I don't know. I was never sold on this mold to begin with, and this is only an okay use of it. Do I think you should get it? Sure, why not? I mean, it's cool. If you already have a previous version of Bugbite, I don't think you need to double dip for this. I really don't. But if you don't have a version of Bugbite, then yeah, why not get it? He looks cool. The transformation's fine. The articulation is still great. But he's definitely looser than Cliffjumper or Hubcap. Can't speak to Bumblebee. Don't have that guy here in hand. He's all right. And maybe that's okay. Let me know what you think about Bugbite. I appreciate you guys coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time, man. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. While you're at it, man, hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, well, usually on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.